Hello everybody, this is Karen. So today I will show you another orchid mounts that I will be doing. So I'll be using a wet sphagnum moss for this. I don't know, some people that I like to use a sphagnum moss to mount that to hold the moisture until your orchids adapted to its new environment. So I did mounted orchids before in a piece of wood. It works great. The orchids loved it. I never had a bud blast. So however, I changed my mind. I wanna switch to a driftwood because driftwood, the reason why I love using driftwood is they last long. So join me in another orchid mount video. So this is, I'm gonna put two orchids in this driftwood, so maybe one over here and maybe one up here, somewhere like that, but the same presentation because when they bloom I want the bloom the same direction. I don't want them to like going I want the bloom to kind of cascade effect, so I want it like that. And then also being the summertime, spring summer, I bring my orchids out, so I always spray water them, so this way the crown don't the water don't stay longer in the crown. So that's what I'm gonna do it right here. So maybe one up here and then one at the top. And yeah, so I like to use sphagnum moss. So sphagnum moss or whatever available to you in your area. In the Philippines we always use coconut husk if ever we mount an orchid into the tree. So some people kind of ask me if what preparation do I do with my driftwood or in the wood in general when I mount the orchids. So you can two ways: by heat, you can put them under the sun, or for me I put them in the greenhouse. Nothing special, I just wash them down and dried and put them in my greenhouse where it's very hot in there. That's about it. I didn't bake it or anything because when think of it, when we mount them on a tree, we didn't really had a chance to boil the tree down, just my opinion. So we didn't really do that. So it's up to you if you want to sterilize your equipment, the wood, but I didn't do that with this one. I think orchids are very resilient, kind of adapt to their environment. So that's that. Okay, so one down and one more to go. done. Okay guys, so my mounted orchid is done. I know they look beautiful. Gorgeous, gorgeous. So when they bloom, I want the flowers to kind of cascade down here. That's why I put it like that. So give me a comment, and if you like this video, and you can also subscribe if you want to. And thank you for watching. So these are my finished project on my phalaenopsis orchids that I mounted to the driftwood. So if you can see right here, I used a netting to kind of give it a support, and also to hold the moss in there, because if I use a twine or fishing line, the sphagnum moss will be like all over the place. So this is just to hold this down. And before, when I mounted an orchid to the wood, it takes at least 3 to 4 months until they kind of cling to the wood or media you use them to. So you can use whatever available to you. So this netting, actually I just recycled this. You know what, I forgot where I got this, but when I didn't throw them away, I just kept them in my greenhouse, thinking I'm gonna need them someday, which I did. So that's what happened. I used them to hold this together. You can use pantyhose or whatever thin material that you're available to you. Actually, you can use a cheesecloth, because cheesecloth, they are very thin, very airy, but they can hold the roots and the moss together. But I like using moss when I'm mounting my orchids, to keep them hydrated so they won't get dried out or wilted. Some people, they mount them with no medium at all. That's not gonna work with my schedule. I work 2 jobs. I work in ICU as a nurse and med surg, so I'm not here every day to mist them, to water them. So putting moss, sphagnum moss, will eliminate the need for me to spray them every day. So far it works great for me. I water them. I will be putting them in my greenhouse. So what I do, I spray the hose in there once a week. I saturated the moss, so that kind of give them moisture that sometimes lasts for a week. And I also check, sometimes we get hot days, nice sunny hot days, so I also check if they're dried and I think they need some watering. I water them, but still I didn't have to water them every day. So whatever works with your schedule, with your lifestyle, you do whatever works for you. But for me, this is what works for me. I love growing orchids and plants because in my job as a nurse, it's very stressful. So this is kind of help me relax, in because they're beautiful, they're very relaxing, and kind of stress reliever for me, after work or on my days off. I just sit in my greenhouse, drink my coffee, and enjoy my orchids in there. So yeah, you can use whatever. Some people use a pantyhose, or yeah, like I said, if you have in your kitchen, if you have cheesecloth, that will works too, or whatever screen material you have like this, kind of tie it around, and you can support it with twine so it's not fall over the place. So that's that, and you can see the roots in there. So because I live in upstate New York, I can't mount them in the tree where some people in Florida they can do that, or some, you know, or California where they don't get harsh winter. But unfortunately for me, here in upstate New York we get harsh winters, you know, we get a lot of snow, so I can't mount them outside, of course, or else they're gonna die. However, so this is why I mount them on the driftwood where I can transfer them. You know, I transfer them in the spring, summer, fall in my greenhouse, and then come winter time I can transfer them inside the house. So they're very mobile. You know, I can put them wherever I want them to be. So that's that. The same thing with this one. I used a screen, and this one too. And my orchids loves outside. They love being in my greenhouse. I saw a lot of this one is new leaves, and then there are more leaves in there, and then new roots. They're growing fast, they're growing crazy in my greenhouse because they get enough light in my greenhouse. And yep, so that's the. And when the roots starting to clean on the driftwood, I can take this, actually I can take that out, or you can put a moss on the top to kind of hide the screen. It's up to you. And here's another one right there. So yeah, it's very easy, guys, very easy to mount them. So actually with mounting them on the tree, on the driftwood or somewhere, wherever you want to mount them, you don't have to cut any roots actually, because unlike if you put them in the pot, you have to cut the rotted roots because it becomes acidic, you know. But when mounting, and then sometimes it kind of cause problems like root rot. That's the cause sometimes when you cut the roots, and then, you know, it's kind of higher risk for them to get root rot, or organism can enter the fresh cut roots. So unlike this one, you don't have to cut the roots here. I actually this time I didn't had to cut roots. There's not a lot of dead roots, but if you have a lot of dead roots and you're scared to cut them, or you don't know which one to cut, mounting them on the driftwood eliminates the need of the cutting of the wood, of the rotted roots.